Welcome to US Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: Gaetz says losing seat would be price worth paying for McCarthy ouster. Plum, Young each score 26 as Aces dominate Liberty in WNBA Finals opener. US sends warships and fighter jets to support Israel. Labour accuses Rishi Sunak of leaving Britain isolated on world stage. Travis Etienne, Jaguars go 2-0 in London, beat listless Bills 25-20. Gaetz says losing seat would be price worth paying for McCarthy ouster. The Independent. Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz has said he is not concerned about potential challenges from within his party after successfully leading the ousting of Kevin McCarthy from his speakership role. Gaetz has faced threats of expulsion or a primary challenge from other members of his caucus for removing McCarthy from his job. Gaetz has demanded an aggressive timeline for putting hardline conservative budget measures to the floor from any GOP candidate who wants his vote for Speaker. There are also reports suggesting Republicans may opt to expel Gaetz if an ethics committee probe provides an excuse to do so. Plum, Young each score 26 as Aces dominate Liberty in WNBA Finals opener. CBC. The Las Vegas Aces defeated the New York Liberty 99-82 in Game 1 of the WNBA Finals. Jackie Young and Kelsey Plum led the Aces with 26 points each, while Chelsea Gray added 20 points and 9 assists. Brianna Stewart scored 21 points for the Liberty. The Aces pulled away in the second half and dominated the game. Game 2 of the series will be held in Las Vegas on Wednesday. U.S. sends warships and fighter jets to support Israel. Telegraph. The U.S. has sent warships and fighter jets to support Israel following Hamas' surprise attack on the country. The move raises tensions in the region, with Iranian intelligence officials accused of planning the attack. The UK has rallied to Israel's defense, with Prime Minister Rishi Sunak offering British intelligence to help identify Hamas targets. Israel has launched airstrikes on 120 Hamas targets in northern Gaza, and there are fears that a major ground assault could be imminent. The conflict has so far resulted in 413 Palestinian deaths and 50 Israeli deaths. Labour accuses Rishi Sunak of leaving Britain isolated on world stage. The Independent. The UK Labour Party will accuse Chancellor Rishi Sunak of leaving Britain isolated on the world stage and pledge to reconnect the country with other nations. Shadow Foreign Secretary David Lammy will criticise Prime Minister Boris Johnson for skipping key international climate summits. Polling conducted during the Conservative Party conference last week showed that 57% of respondents believe Britain's position in the world has weakened under the Tories, with 52% saying it has become more isolated. Lammy will contrast the Tory approach with Labour's plan, stating that Keir Starmer will stand up for Britain in the world. Travis Etienne, Jaguars go 2-0 in London, beat listless Bills 25-20. The Toronto Star. The Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Buffalo Bills 25-20 in a game played at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London. The Jaguars won back-to-back games in London and snapped the Bills' three-game winning streak. Jaguars running back Travis Etienne rushed for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to secure the victory. The Bills struggled to establish a running game, managing just 29 yards on the ground. Jacksonville quarterback Trevor Lawrence threw for 315 yards and a touchdown, but lost 2 fumbles. In other games, the Pittsburgh Steelers defeated the Baltimore Ravens 17-10, the Atlanta Falcons beat the Houston Texans 21-19, the New Orleans Saints routed the New England Patriots 34-0, the Miami Dolphins defeated the New York Giants 31-16, the Detroit Lions beat the Carolina Panthers 42-24, and the Indianapolis Colts defeated the Tennessee Titans 23-16. Daniel Jones knocked out of Giants' loss at Miami, adding to New York's season-opening woes. The Toronto Star. New York Giants quarterback Daniel Jones is set to undergo further tests on his neck after leaving Sunday's game against the Miami Dolphins with an injury. Jones has had issues with his neck in the past, forcing him to miss the final 6 games of the 2020 season. The Giants lost 31-16, falling to 1-4 on the season. The team is also without running back Saquon Barkley and is struggling on the offensive line, which has contributed to their offensive woes. The Giants have not scored a first-quarter touchdown in their past 12 games. As false war information spreads on X, Musk promotes unvetted accounts. Washington Post. Elon Musk recommended that users follow accounts notorious for promoting lies during the Gaza Strip-Israel conflict, which is seeing misinformation proliferate on Twitter. Musk's recommendation to follow at War Monitors and at Scent Defender was deleted, but not before the post was viewed 11 million times in 3 hours. Both accounts were among the early spreaders of a false claim in May that there had been an explosion near the White House. Researchers have said Twitter has become less reliable since Musk took control of the platform nearly a year ago. New Ukraine ambassador wore a kilt for first meeting with Zelensky. The Independent. The UK's new ambassador for Ukraine, Martin Harris, wore a kilt for his first meeting with President Volodymyr Zelensky. Harris, who previously served in Kiev from 2003 to 2008, wore his family's tartan, Ferguson, as a sign of solidarity with Ukraine. After the outbreak of war in 2022, Harris had a new tartan created called Ukraine Forever and had a tie made from it. Harris, who spent a month in Lviv earlier this year to refresh his Ukrainian language skills, expressed his honor to lead the UK's embassy in Kiev and support Ukraine in its fight for freedom and democracy. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Six, your resident observer from the sixth dimension, here to bring you the latest news from across the dimensions. Let's dive right in. In the world of politics, Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz is facing potential challenges from within his own party after successfully leading the ousting of Kevin McCarthy from his speakership role. Gaetz, however, seems unfazed by the threats and demands an aggressive timeline for conservative budget measures. Looks like he's willing to pay any price for McCarthy's removal. Moving on to sports, the Las Vegas Aces dominated the New York Liberty in Game 1 of the WNBA Finals. Jackie Young and Kelsey Plum led the Aces to a 99-82 victory, while Brianna Stewart scored 21 points for the Liberty. The Aces are off to a strong start, and it'll be interesting to see how Game 2 unfolds. In international news, the US has sent warships and fighter jets to support Israel following a surprise attack by Hamas. Tensions are high in the region, with Iran being accused of planning the attack. The UK has offered its intelligence to help identify Hamas targets, showing support for Israel. As the conflict escalates, there are fears of a major ground assault. Let's hope for a peaceful resolution. Shifting gears to the UK, the Labour Party is accusing Chancellor Rishi Sunak of leaving Britain isolated on the world stage. They pledge to reconnect the country with other nations and criticize Prime Minister Boris Johnson for skipping key international climate summits. With polling showing a belief that Britain's position in the world has weakened, it'll be interesting to see how Labour's plan to stand up for Britain plays out. In the world of American football, the Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Buffalo Bills in a game played in London. Running back Travis Etienne was the star of the game, rushing for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. The Jaguars' victory snapped the Bills' winning streak and showcased their potential. On a sadder note, New York Giants quarterback Daniel Jones is set to undergo further tests on his neck after leaving Sunday's game with an injury. The Giants are struggling this season, with a 1-4 record and key players sidelined. Let's hope for a speedy recovery for Jones and a turnaround for the team. Now, let's talk about Elon Musk and his Twitter antics. Musk recommended following accounts known for promoting lies during the Gaza Strip-Israel conflict, contributing to the spread of misinformation. Researchers have pointed out that Twitter has become less reliable since Musk took control of the platform. It seems like he's stirring up quite the whirlwind. Lastly, in a lighter news item, the UK's new ambassador for Ukraine, Martin Harris, made quite the fashion statement by wearing a kilt for his first meeting with President Zelensky. Harris showed solidarity with Ukraine by wearing his family's tartan and even had a tie made from a tartan called Ukraine Forever. It's great to see such support for Ukraine's fight for freedom and democracy. That's all for today's news, folks. Remember, stay curious, stay connected, and keep exploring the wonders of the sixth dimension. Now, it's your turn. What are your thoughts on these news stories? I'm all ears. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.